In 6th class I got discriminated against for being English by the teacher. I started getting a bit depressed in 6th class, and it was really weird because I didn't know what the hell depression was. But I found it really hard to remember stuff, like stuff in class, you know?
George, can you tell us what happens when Bruno offers Schmal something to eat when he's supposed to be working, please?
I'm afraid I can't remember the answer, miss. And she started doing a mock accent, like.
Oh, can we not remember the answer, George? Are we not getting it? Are we not?
And it was really like, it felt really embarrassing. And I didn't understand at the time, of course, that was discrimination.
I wouldn't say I was bullied. The kids were always back and forth, and you can take that whichever way you like. But the thing that really set it off was in an English class. There was only one ordinary English class, and they wouldn't let me do the higher because of how I was at the time.
You wouldn't be able for it.
There was only one ordinary English class, and everybody who didn't want to do the higher, which is every messer, got thrown into this one class. So there was so much noise from this one side. I sat in the seat where nobody could see me, so nobody would be doing stuff behind me. And I remember once actually, I don't know what caused it or what sparked it between them, but I remember one student strangling another kid at the back of the classroom.
What's going on here? How dare you! How dare you in my class! Get to the principal's office right now! Animals! The lot of you!
Which was like, he strangled a kid, you know? I'm pretty sure you can expel someone for like strangling a kid at the back of that classroom until that kid nearly passes out on the floor. I think you can do that.
I kicked a chair in my Irish class.
Lisa, get back to your corner seat. I don't want you sitting there.
Why do I have to sit by myself? What do you have against me?
Lisa, I do not have to justify myself or my decisions to you. Get back to your seat.
I kicked it because I was sitting by myself for a full 2 years, like, and she said,
Get out of my class and go down to the principal right now.
that's grand, free class for me. She told the principal.
Mr. Sweeney, that girl is violent. She threw a chair at me.
And I had the whole class sitting across from me saying,
She didn't, she just kicked it across the classroom.
but that didn't matter. They called my mum in. They said I was a danger to the other students.
In my secondary school, you know the vice principal there, Mr. Sweeney? Yeah, he'd give students a box in the chest, like. He'd come at you, but he'd come at you with a closed fist, grab you, bang you, and choke you. Well, at one of the days I remember, I threw a 50p piece across the classroom, and little did I know it would crack the glass and smash it. Shit.
Mr. Sweeney!
Your man came in, guns blazing.
You, come here.
Bang. A fully grown man, probably late 40s. Me, 12, 13. Only a first year. The worst thing was, I got suspended for that. For getting a box in the chest.
They used to go around and make you pull your pants up to see if you had the right socks on, like.
Pants up, pants up, pants up.
I remember I actually came in normal clothes before.
Joe, not only are you the only one not wearing the right socks, you've also decided that you don't need to wear a uniform at all. Because you're so special, aren't you, Joe? Special Joe doesn't need to wear his uniform like everyone else.
It could have just been in the wash that day. There could have been something wrong with it, like, they didn't even ask.
Well, you know what, Joe? Seeing as you're so damn special, you can go to a special place today. You can go and sit in the gym hall by yourself.
And they sat me down there for like fucking 5 hours for nothing, like, for not wearing the right uniform.
One of my mates go,
Fuck you, miss. I'm on the bird.
in the worst accent you could ever put on yet. And she turns around and goes,
Anthony Byrne, where are you?
and she just goes off on one like.
There you are. How dare you? How dare you?
I'm here, I was even awake like, Miss, why would I say my own name if it was me?
Just get out of my class. Just get the hell out of my class.
And he's there, he can't even believe his luck. Fuck this! when it comes down to it, they're all messing with you, but at the end of the day, you're the one getting in trouble, you're getting suspended, you're getting expelled. You know what I mean?
The only time my family ever asked me how I got on in school or what happened in school was when I came home with torn clothes or bruises.
Jeez, what's after going on?
And even when I come home after getting suspended, I wouldn't mind telling my ma. It was my dad. When I tell my ma, I got suspended.
Fucking dark birds.
And that was that.
Your ma wouldn't be like that. Your ma would bait you with something, you know what I mean? My ma wouldn't come in talking, she'd come in shouting.
What are you after going and doing? Can you not for once in your life not be causing trouble? You wait till your dad finds out about this young man.
We didn't have a lot of money, so we wouldn't have had a phone. But every year they sent out a report card. And at the end of the report card was a yellow slip. I always remember.
Too giddy. Too giddy.
They put me down as a bit of a dosser. That's what they called too giddy back then.
Too giddy. He's never funny here.
That's the messing again. Because my dad was a sergeant major in the army and no one touched his sons but him.
My ma, she's not like that. We have a really good relationship because I'm always honest with her. I always tell her the truth straight up. Yeah, I wasn't just going to sit there and let them yell at me, you know, I had to stick up for myself. And now, heckin', all the other teachers are pissed off at me because she was talking about me.
Why are you picking on her? She says you're always picking on her. What do you have against her? Once something goes wrong, you blame her. She has a very different story of events, I'll tell you. And I know my daughter, and she may be many things, but she is not a liar.
It's like she's my mum, you know?
Yeah, it was more or less a bit of fun if I ever came home with something wrong or something like that. Well, I was never hit by my mother or father. They could never catch me. I'd be running.
Come here till I give you what you're for.
You know, coming from a larger family, you could kind of tell it wasn't as important to them because they were trying to look out for, to care for everyone. I remember one time, Ma, Dad, I won the Under-12 School League. We won it. We're the only ones in school who've ever won it. There's going to be an assembly on our honour.
Did you know? Isn't that great? Can you give me a hand with this cleaning Pete after get the dinner on?
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it was as if I'd said, Ma, Dad, I won a bag of potatoes.
Did you know? Isn't that great? Can you give me a hand with this cleaning Pete after get the dinner on?
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there was no difference.
Do you know why you're here, Mark? Are you aware of the reasons that have forced us to call this meeting?
Because I was running in the hall.
No, Mark, no. Not because you're running in the hall, that is not why you've been called here today, but because you put your own life and the life of another student in danger.
I was just running.
Running in a hallway where running is strictly prohibited. Running in an area where you could have very, very, very easily have run through glass doors, causing yourself and another student severe
I knew
injury.
the door was there. Like, I have eyes. I wouldn't have walked
Running at a
through
time
them.
when you were already on punishment for disrupting yet another classroom and were supposed to be outside contemplating your actions. And yet, you saw fit to carry on that misconduct outside the classroom.
We were just playing chasing. You make it sound like we were playing with AK-47s.
Playing chasing. Playing chasing. Were you in the yard, Mr. Doyle? Were you on a break, Mr. Doyle? Had you finished your lessons? No, Mr. Doyle, you had not. You were in the corridor because your behaviour was preventing other students, other hard-working students, who, unlike you, want to learn, Mr. Doyle, from being able to concentrate on their studies. Students who, unlike you, Mr. Doyle, appreciate everything that is being done for them here in this school. You, on the other hand, were preventing other students from learning. So you had been sent outside to reflect on your misconduct. But did you reflect, Mark? Did you?
No. I didn't know I'd been sent outside to reflect. I just thought
No,
I'd been
you did
sent
not, Mr. Doyle.
outside.
You did not. You think you're better than anybody here, don't you? You think you have all of the answers. You think you don't need what we have to teach you. But we have no choice here, Mr. Doyle, but to call in your parents. Thank you for coming in, Mr. Doyle.
I left work as soon as I got your call. What's going on? What do you have to do?
Nothing, I was just bloody running.
That's what I heard. I heard you almost caused a fatal accident, for God's sake. What were you thinking?
This is a very serious matter, Mr. Doyle, one we cannot turn a blind eye to. We have a duty of care to our students, Mr. Doyle. We are a good school, a well-respected school. Parents trust us to take care of their children.
Of course they do, but he says he was just running.
He most certainly was not just running, Mr. Doyle. Your son was engaging in conduct where it is a miracle that nobody was hurt.
And was he not supposed to be in class?
He most certainly was supposed to be in class. Would you like to tell your father why you weren't in class, Mark?
I got sent out.
What you get sent out for God's
For
sake?
messing.
It was far more serious than just messing, Mark. This here appears to be the problem, Mr. Doyle. Mark is not aware of the seriousness of his own actions. Mark is preventing his fellow students from learning. We have hundreds of students here who want to learn, Mr. Doyle. We cannot allow one student to prevent the future chances of everyone
For God's
else.
sake.
Of course not.
We're glad you can see our point. Which brings us to our next point. We can no longer have Mark in the school.
You're not serious.
Very serious. Very serious indeed. We don't feel like there is anything else we can do for Mark here.
But, God, he was only messing. He's a young lad, that's what young lads do. He was only messing. He meant no harm, there's no
He may
bad in
have
him.
meant no harm, Mr. Doyle, but he's causing harm left, right and centre. There are only so many last chances, Mr. Doyle.
But, God, he's only 14. He hasn't done his junior cert even. Where would he go?
Well, for someone like Mark, an alternative education setting might be the best option open to him.
Why? Are you allowed to run in there?
What do you mean, someone like Mark?
What we mean, Mr. Doyle, is that we have done everything we can for Mark here. Mark is disrupting his fellow students, and we cannot allow that to happen.
So that's it, you're just going to wash your hands of him.
We are not washing our hands, Mr. Doyle. We will do everything we can to manage his
Manage his transfer. Manage his transfer. You make him sound like a category A felon.
Now, let's not get over emotional.
I'm getting
here, Mr.
bloody
Doyle.
angry is what I'm getting.
Mr. Doyle, I'm going to have to ask you to calm down. This is not helpful to anyone.
No, I'll tell you what's not helpful. Marking a 14-year-old boy out. Labelling him someone like Mark. Come on, Mark, let's get out of here.
We'll be sending out a report in the post, Mr. Doyle.
Can't wait.
I think the chaplain needs to get involved with this. What do you think?
Absolutely. Sure, you know who the family is, of course.
Sure. Doesn't the whole town know who the family is? It always boils down to the family.